Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to Pocono Raceway for the first round of Season 25 of the Reddit iRacing League. 25 seasons. Wow. And here we are with a multi-class race to start the season. It's going to be 50 minutes or 50 laps, whichever comes first. And our two cars are Chevrolet Impala Car of Tomorrow and the free Chevrolet Silverado truck. 10 minutes of qualifying. It's open and everyone is out there right now setting their lap times for the grid. I'm David Haynes in the production, Michael Derby with the buttons, the cameras and the graphics, and alongside me will be Aaron Thacker. Aaron, the first round of the season, all to play for.
Yeah, David, we have ourselves a very special event, to say the least, tonight, with two of these very unique cars. One of them retired, one of them is still racing in the NASCAR circuit. But we're in for a wild one tonight, as we do have some speed variance in these two cars. The truck bringing in around 625 horsepower, 3,400 pounds, and we've got the Car of Tomorrow that is no longer in circuit with 750 plus horsepower uncarbureted or unrestricted carburation on one of these, David. So massive speed difference, but boy, when the tires go on these things, are we going to see some exciting pack racing tonight?
Yeah, exactly. The sun's out there right now. The track surface is pretty hot, and this is not an easy circuit by any stretch of the imagination. These are not easy cars to drive, especially that Car of Tomorrow, which is by far the most popular choice out there. It's got lots of horsepower, not a whole lot of braking, not a whole lot of turning, not a whole lot of traction on the rear tires after a few laps either. So 7 minutes remaining of qualifying, and right now Alex Albert is at the top of your timing and your standings, but only by the slimmest of margins over returning champion Giovanni Romano.
Yeah, returning champion Giovanni Romano. Those that were able to join us for the season finale of season 24, my goodness, was it a big one with some massive dramas at the very end of the race, and Giovanni Romano just really squeaking by and stealing the championship. So a fantastic finish for season 24 of Giovanni Romano, and he's already running up in P2 tonight, up in qualifying. And David, we are seeing some very interesting action on track, as we kind of talked about how different these cars are when it comes to handling and aero. And this is an open qualifying session, and we are seeing a bit of difficulty with the traffic with a few of these guys, and a few spinners and a few smoking cars on track, Dave. We've got about 6 minutes left in this qualifying session.
Yeah, there's a little bit of road rage out there, a little bit of tension between classes. Certainly on tires that have worn in a little bit, the truck can be quicker through some of the corners than the Car of Tomorrow, than that Chevy Impala. But in a straight line, a Chevy Impala is a bullet. It's horsepower on wheels with not a whole lot else, and obviously if they're too close to each other on a flying lap, it can cause some tension, and we definitely saw some of that into the final corner. And throughout the remainder of this broadcast, what are we going to call the corners? Is it just 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, David, I think that's probably the safest thing to do. And this is such a unique circuit, as turn 1 is completely different than turn 2, is completely different than turn 3. So completely varying speeds. You likely will see some different lines by all these guys. Pocono is a very challenging circuit, and especially when those tires start to go, is there's going to be a ton of lifting and a lot of wheel you're going to need to put into these cars. Dave, I'm going to quickly check the temperature of the track here. Ooh, David, we have a hot one here. The track is 102 with an ambient temperature of 88 degrees Fahrenheit. So my goodness, that is not going to make it easy on these guys tonight, keeping the car under them.
Absolutely not. And setting the pole position time on his most recent lap was Jeff Tyler. He's now taken that away from Alex Albert underneath the 56-second barrier. And like I said, this race It's going to be 50 minutes or 50 laps, whichever comes first. Might be the laps, but it's close enough that it might be the time, especially when you factor in they'll have to take at least one pit stop for fuel and tires. No cautions for today's race coming up, but the fastest class of car, that car of tomorrow, well, in qualifying spec, they're only just doing 56 seconds deeper into a run. And if we see the track temperatures continue to stay as hot as they are, we might see them dropping down to around a minute or so. It's very, very possible. The tyre wear, the tyre drop-off, difficult. And even on a brand new set of tyres, in that car of tomorrow, you are braking into every corner around this oval.
Yeah, that's going to be extremely hard, and it's going to probably even be worse with the truck, as even less aero. It just, you really don't have a lot of aero pushing on that rear bumper. It's all going to flow right over there. You got that flat bed there. And David, I'm doing a quick scan here, and it looks like John Patrick in the number 16 is going to be our quickest truck on track. And I'm going to have our producer go ahead and flip to that car. I don't know if I want to apologize or welcome everyone to view that paint job, but as of right now, John Patrick does appear to be our fastest truck on traffic. David, are you seeing the same?
Yeah, indeed. A fastest time for him of 58.758 puts him just ahead of Alexander Hammonds, and third in that class is Ryan Verhulst. So that one not quite as closely contested as our car of tomorrow class, but I'm sure in racing conditions, those trucks a bit easier to take through the corners, a little bit more, a bigger hole that they punch in the air. I'm sure they'll race a lot closer than they qualify, and certainly expecting maybe the opposite in the car of tomorrow class.
Indeed, David. I'm taking a quick look of see who is still on track here. We got about 2 minutes left, and Giovanni Romano was P2 there, about 6 minutes left, and with just 2 minutes left, he has been bumped down to the P4 position. Right now, our top three are Jeff Tyler with a blistering 55.8, Austin Burdick in P2 with a 55.9, and Alex Albert with the 55.94, just a 1/100th behind Austin Burdick in P3. Oh, and Alex Albert was on a hot one there, but just lost it into turn 2. So, David, these guys have got a few minutes left, just under 2 minutes now. That is just enough to get in probably 1 or 2 more laps here. See how some of these guys can get some more spots.
Yeah, possibly. Qualifying, not sure how important it'll be, but to start the race on the front row certainly will help you avoid some of the troubles that might happen deeper in the pack. And it's a shuffle up again. Rhett Nichols coming through to take second place, and now Giovanni Romano goes to the top of the board. Look at that, a 55.6. He means business, does the two-time defending champion. Track conditions, I think we had a teeny bit of cloud cover for a second. There is some grip out there. Jeff Tyler crosses the line. Was that a flying lap, or is that the start of a flying lap? I think he might be starting a flyer there, and he'll have just enough time to complete that one before the checkered flag flies on this qualifying session.
Yeah, let's. I'm going to ask our producer to keep an eye on this. Jeff Tyler is going to cross a start-finish with probably, just probably about 20 seconds left. So, depending on how much overage we do have on this qualifying session, Jeff Tyler is going to get one more really good run in, potentially contest that very quick lap by Giovanni Romano. Oh, and Jeff, it's very loose out of turn 3 there, and yeah, it looks like he's going to kill it. So, yeah, David, looks like Jeff Tyler is going to settle for P2 starting tonight.
Yeah, not going to be able to improve on that one. There's not enough time to get out of the pit lane and cross the line to start another lap. It's all about the cars that are still out there, like Alex Coffard coming to the line, Justin Lemons, plenty of other drivers out there. The chance to improve just a little bit. Austin Burdick improves his time, but doesn't manage to grab another spot because of it.
No, he does not. And David, I think we have just 1 minute of overage here. And right now, everybody is, Austin Burdick is still out on track, still running turnover time. Thomas Ellison is still showing on my timing screen as well. And Kyle Smith has bested Thomas Ellison. So, David, just a couple cars left on track. I've got a few. Just a minute here. Let's see if anybody can improve. But David, I think our field may be set.
Yeah, certainly only so much reshuffling that can happen to that order. We'll have a look at it in just 1 second. Tom Ellison comes across the line. What was that for him? Was that an improvement? It was. He does a 58.726. Not enough to jump him ahead of Kyle Smith or John Patrick. So we'll have a look at the grid at our starting order now. I'll try not to get the different classes confused here, because on your overall pole position and in the Chevy Impala class, Giovanni Romano, 55.598, nearly 2.5 tenths clear of Jeff Tyler, who'll start alongside him on the front row. The next row behind is Rhett Nichols and Austin Burdick. 5th place is Devin Peters. 6th is Alex Albert. 7th place is Andrew Fawcett. 8th is Alex Coffard. And then 9th place is David Hall, and 10th place, Justin Lamans.
And we are blessed to have in P11 tonight Jordan Babcock. Babs Nation is going to look for some big redemption after a very disappointing Cadillac race. You know those fans, the Babs Nation fans, are out in full force tonight here in Pocono. P12, Nate Franklin. P13, Jake Humphrey. P14, Alexander Bueller. P15, Jeremy Rogers. P16, Brian Molitor. P17 is Zachary Price. P18, Shane Cameron. John Patrick in P19, our first truck, I believe, and Kyle Smith rounding out the top 20. Thomas Ellison, P21. Ryan Verhulst, P22. Alexander Hammonds in P23, Matthew Tamashiro in P24. I hope I can get that name the rest of this race. Ryan Muirhead, P25, Brandon Schohoff, P26, Philip Linden, P27, Jonathan Dixon, P28, and David, are you seeing Roger Gregory on track, as he did not set a lap in P29?
He's on the starting grid, is Roger Gregory, the only driver with no time. So he'll round up the very back of our 29-car grid. Not a bad turnout for the first race and the first round of Season 25 of the Reddit iRacing League. All of our cars just taking to the grid now. They'll be behind the iRacing Mustang pace car for one lap. Then it'll peel in, and Giovanni Romano will have control of the field for our 50-lap race. In both classes, we're expecting one pit stop. It'll be for fuel and it'll be for tires. You would expect, especially in the Car of Tomorrow class, that pitting about halfway for tires would be overall the quickest strategy. But we'll wait and see what strategies some of these drivers have in mind. Giovanni Romano follows that pace car, and the rest of the grid get going behind him. This beautiful 2.5-mile circuit.
Yeah, I want to say I want to default to Thomas Ellison. He is the man that likes to pit early in pretty much every single race. Thomas Ellison is driving a very pretty pink truck tonight. Oh, and a big checkup on the front stretch here. One driver appears to be having an issue. But yeah, the trucks are backing up a little bit, giving these guys some space. So yeah, I think we're going to be looking out for some early pitters, and we've seen Tom Ellison be a master at that in past season, especially last season. And so we're going to keep an eye on that strategy tonight, David. But yeah, these cars are going to chew up tires tonight, especially with a track that remains at a 101 temperature, and that is just going to creep up a few degrees as these guys put some heat down and put some laps down.
2 fast repairs, so if you get into some trouble, you will be able to get that repaired very, very quickly, but with no cautions, it will cost you some time out there. It'll put you onto a 2-stop strategy if you crash early. The most optimal time for crashing would be just before halfway, before you've pitted, so you can come in, get new tires, fill the fuel up for the end, and get your car fixed. Crashing at any other time, very, very ill-advised. So by my count, I think we had 18 cars for the Car of Tomorrow and 9 in the truck class. Both of those categories going to be fiercely contested, expecting it to be close in both. And they come around the final corner here. Pace car will peel in, and we're going to go racing very, very soon. When does Giovanni Romano jump? The green flag's in the air. He puts the throttle down. Jeff Tyler on the outside gets a bit of a wiggle, and a great start for Romano.
Great start for Romano, and he is going to, man, goodness, did he get a run. He is already found himself his high line, his line he wants. He's going to dive into Toronto. Big breaking moment for car number 46 there. That was a big moment there for Jeff Tyler, really trying to give Giovanni a scare. David, let's pop really quick back to our truck field. Let's see what's going on with these guys. Kyle Smith has got himself a very comfortable lead over John Petrick. My goodness, well done, Kyle Smith. Already got himself about 3/10. They are going to be watching the draft here. So the truck field is also moving, David.
Yeah, exactly. Your top three in your trucks is Kyle Smith, John Patrick, and then Tom Ellison. No changes for the top two in your Impala class, but behind that, Austin Burdick and Alex Albert both having a good jump at the expense of Rhett Nichols, who has run into some kind of problems because he qualified third and he's now running in 18th place.
Yeah, not entirely sure what happened to Rhett, but yeah, that is very unfortunate. As he continues to drop down the field, David, and I'm watching is
damage,
Rhett
and he's
Nichols
bringing it onto pit lane.
Okay, yeah, that is unfortunate, David. I'm going to try and go back and see what happened to Rhett here, but man, that is really unfortunate. So I'm going to quick scan back. He is right. Yeah, David. Yeah, he just, oh my goodness, because like he just got very loose and a very hard contact into turn one. So yeah, that is a fast repair early on for Rhett Nichols.
Well, up the front of your field, Giovanni Romano has a gap several cars lengths, half a second over Jeff Tyler. He's got half a second over Austin Burdick. They're a little bit closer behind that, but the draft not in huge effect in the fastest class of car, with the tires dropping off the way they do and the aerodynamic drag not being so much. It's all about how you drive it through the corner, how you get the traction down.
My goodness, what a dive by Alex Albert coming up on Austin Burdick there. Austin Burdick is, I don't believe he has a preferred line into this corner, but he's going to carry a little more speed than Alex Albert there. But wow, what a dive by Alex Albert very early on in this race. There's 3 laps. David, again, I am no oval track expert, but I am really watching Jeff Tyler and Giovanni Romano kind of pull away here. I'm not entirely sure what the strategy needs to be for these guys because the draft is going to be very important here. But Austin Burdick and Alex Albert need to watch out because Jeff Tyler and Giovanni Romano, they are going to pull away. They've already pulled half a second just 3 laps into this race.
Yeah, side by side once again for third place, and once again Austin Burdick manages to just hold on to it. Alex Albert's looking racy behind, and even back in the background there, Devin Peters has had a horrible run off the final corner. That's bunched all of them up. The likes of Alex Coffard, Andrew Fawcett, and David Hall trying to make their way through. So it is side by side for 5th place. Now, Devin Peters is on the inside of Alex Coffard, and Coffard's doing very well with the higher line through turn 1, and I think you get the traction down a bit better up there as well. Peters just has his nose in front coming towards turn 2. It's not as long of a corner. I think the inside line will be more favourable there, and indeed, Alex Coffard drops back a little bit. Devin Peters doesn't get a perfect exit, but Fawcett is going to try to force it to the inside. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, David, I'm continuing to watch this here. Let's really keep an eye on these guys exiting turn 1 here. Is you really see the camber and the angle, or excuse me, the banking drop off the corner. So you're going to see, I foresee a lot of incidents coming out of turn 1 here. As these guys running the high line, as they get up close to the wall, that back end gets very light as that banking drops off. And you watch Alexander Crawford go underneath Devin Peters. Peters goes very wide. But watch this exit here. You guys come up the hill, and then all of a sudden that just drops down right there. And I think we're going to see a lot of self spins and potentially some very dangerous situations if 2 cars are side by side.
Aaron, you've got the track temperature numbers in Fahrenheit. What is it at right now? Because they've had a lot of cloud cover, a lot of at the start of the race, but the sun is back out now, and I think it's going to run.
Yeah, David, I'm glad you mentioned that. With that cloud cover, it was down to 94 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temp at green flag drop was 101, so that is a significant drop. So let's keep an eye on some of these lap times, because what you're seeing right now are probably going to be the fastest laps of the race. And right now, Giovanni Romano is currently holding that with a 55.677.
And we had a swap for third place. Alex Albert got ahead of Austin Burdick. But now I think the real battle is fifth on down. Devin Peters acting a bit of a cork in the bottle. Got quite the train behind him. Likes of Alex Coffard, Andrew Fawcett, and David Hall unable to get past. All stacked very, very closely. And is that Alexander Bueller going to the inside of David Hall into turn 2? It is. He's working his way up the field, is the slippery snipper. He's gained 6 positions from his grid slot, picking them off one at a time. I saw him pick off Nate Franklin. He's now picked off David Hall. And continuing to go a bit side by side, battle each other pretty hard in the Chevy Impala class.
Yeah, David, and speaking of Chevy
Devin
Impala
Peters has
class,
hit the wall. Alex Coffard has gotten through. Andrew Fawcett's going to come through now as well. Bad run out of the final corner for Devin Peters. He's going to lose 2 positions, and that releases Coffard and Fawcett out. But Coffard goes in deep. Fawcett's going to try to also get to the inside. This is where our best racing is.
My goodness, David, great call there. Yeah, you guys can go ahead and stay on this, but I'm keeping an eye on these trucks back here. Kyle Smith remains the leader of the trucks, with John Patrick quickly following, and Alexander Hammonds. We had some very intense side-by-side action, David, but we'll stay at the front. I'm keeping an eye on these trucks back here.
Yeah, it all seems a little more restrained in the truck class. The fighting in our Chevy Impalas has been a little bit tougher. Alex Coffard is battling once again with Devin Peters, and so is Andrew Fawcett. Devin Peters has gotten his way back past Andrew Fawcett, so the issues that he had earlier haven't damaged his car and haven't hurt his chances in this category. But then Alexander Bueller is right on the back of this train as well. And he is very good in anything with a little bit of horsepower that gets a little bit sideways.
Yeah, he really is. And watching Justin Lamons get a very good run and just a big back off right there. So Lamons is taking it easy. Excuse me, David. I'm a little far back to me. Yeah, right now, Alexander Bueller is just hounding Andrew Fawcett, and we're going to look possibly a move by Bueller. No, he's going to lift. And just in front of that, Devin Peters and Alexander Coffard. Yeah, David, this battle continues to rage on. And David, I'm going to mention again, we have seen lap times drop off almost a full second right now because of that cloud cover has completely disappeared, and our track temp is right back up to 99 degrees, David. So it is getting slippery out there.
Yep, 8 laps completed now. I think by the time we get to about lap 20, that's about when you consider the pit window opened. So we're still about halfway at a minimum into the first tyre run, and it's dropped off half a second. Going side by side in the background, Justin Lamons and Jordan Babcock for 9th place, and now Fawcett and Bueller going side by side through turn 2. Bueller nearly gets his nose into the rear quarter panel of Andrew Fawcett, just backs out of it. So settling down the teeniest bit as the tyres wear down, but still plenty to be decided. And then we get to the pit stops, and that will change everything again.
That will change everything. And David, we do have a change for position in trucks. John Patrick has made his way past Kyle Smith. I'm going to quickly go back and see where that moment happened here. But wow, what a move. And so the trucks field continued to jostle back there. They're still pretty tight, David. I know the front car tomorrow group up here is some exciting action, but these truck guys are staying very competitive.
Yeah, indeed. Worth giving some love to the truck. So John Patrick leads that. Kyle Smith is in second, and Alexander Hammonds, bit of a new name to the Reddit iRacing League, but he's doing well there in that 3rd place. Now, the last lap around for these guys, John Patrick was only 4/10 off his best time, so the tyre wear isn't affecting the trucks nearly as badly as it's affecting the Impalas, who are 8/10 off their best times. Going to go side by side for second in the truck class here. Kyle Smith has lost the lead of that category, and now he's got on the inside. Alexander Hammonds goes through in turn 2. Can he get a run off the corner? Not quite. Kyle Smith gets the power down a little bit better, and they stay side by side. This is the kind of action you expect from the trucks. So into turn 3, they stay side by side still. It's a pretty flat corner, not a lot of banking. Really need to set up a good exit onto the front straightaway here, and that's what Kyle Smith has got. For the moment, he will hold on to second place. This gives a bit of a reprieve to John Patrick, who might just be skipping away with the lead a little bit in the trucks class. So going to go side by side for 4th in the trucks as well, I think. No, that was just Ryan Verhulst getting put a lap on, I think.
Yeah, David, you are correct. That was a lap truck. And just to give our viewers an idea here, right now the trucks are doing mid to high 59s, and our Car of Tomorrow group is up in the 56s. And we have a change for position. It looks like Alexander Bueller has made his way past Alexander Crawford, and Alexander Bueller is now all the way up to P6. David, he is up 8 spots, starting in P14 and all the way up, and he's now given himself a side-by-side run with Devin Peters. So once again, Alexander Bueller, these cars that tend to be very loose on the rear end, very slippery. Alexander Bueller just really continues to be very strong in this series. So yeah, all the way up to P6 for Alexander Bueller.
Yep, and our leader in the Impala class, Giovanni Romano, is getting close to putting a lap on our truck field. That's going to be a high tension, high risk moment there as well, because I've already said that with the worn down tires, the trucks are actually a little bit quicker through the corners than the Impalas are. So everyone's going to need to have their wits about them and drive with their best manners at that point.
Yeah, they really are, David. And again, just to give our viewers an idea, so Sector 1, the trucks, the trucks and the Car of Tomorrow get about a second and a half, but Sector 2 is really where you see that Car of Tomorrow just massive speed. There's almost a 3-second delta on some of those speeds, and so we're watching Giovanni Romano work his way past car number 9 with Philip Linden. So that is the first truck with a lap down. So Giovanni Romano running very strong, and he is right now about 3/10 faster on that last lap than Jeff Tyler. So these guys are really starting to tiptoe these cars around. And David, I'm trying to see what sort of pitters we have. Yeah, well, Justin Lamons has been in, as well as Rhett Nichols. I believe one of those is scheduled. We remember Rhett had an issue at the start of the race.
Yeah, indeed. And so Romano going up the inside of the number 19 truck. That's Roger Gregory. So that's how far up the field our leader has put a lap on the trucks. And some shuffling going around in further down the field in the Impala class. Jordan Babcock has just lost 2 positions. He's going door-to-door with Nate Franklin, though.
Yeah, door-to-door was Nate Franklin. And Nate Franklin, again, very quiet, which he always is in a lot of these races. But do not count out Nate. Dave, I'm trying to see where he's at. Yeah, he's up 2 spots in this race. But he does have a bit of damage on the... Oh, and we've got a big moment on the backstretch. Oh, my goodness, car number 94. David, who is that? That is Andrew Fawcett. Andrew Fawcett has had a massive moment. And David, right in that corner I was talking about, coming out of turn 1, you just lose a bunch of carbs. He gets really loose, gets a little bit tank somewhere, almost got it, and then caught some massive air when he hit the wall there. And David, he has extensive damage. He's going to have to limp this thing back around and get that fast trip here. But my goodness, what a big moment for Andrew Fawcett.
Yeah, on his own too. He didn't even hit the outside wall. It just got very loose, and he no longer had enough room to save it. So lap 15, I think this is going to force him into a 2-stop. And it shuffles around the order in the top 10 of the Impala class as well, which is still led by Romano, Tyler in second, but Albert and Burdick are now battling for 3rd place once again.
Yeah, they are. Austin Burdick, Alex Albert give him not an actual physical shove, but just to, hey, kind of give me some room here. A bit of a shove on Austin Burdick, but Alex Albert pushed him up the track, tried to push him in front of that truck there. So right now, these guys are really having a difficult time. And look at, my goodness, look at the speed difference as they go down here. as Austin Burdick goes by the truck right there. So right now, Alex Albert.
Brandon Schulhoff gets put a lap on by Austin Burdick, but then Schulhoff is quicker through turn 1. You see that towards the exit, and then Austin Burdick pulls away on the straight. Schulhoff doesn't get the power down cleanly. Now they're coming up, puts a lap on Tom Ellison in the delivery that I feel is sort of the antithesis of John Patrick's.
Yeah, it really is, David. And, you know, Tom Ellison, he's not having a better. He is P6 in class right now, right behind Ryan Verhulst in P5s. He's about a 1.3 seconds behind him. But right now he is battling with Alex Albert on some lap traffic, and Alex Albert is really struggling with these cars, David. Where any camera work following behind these cars, and my goodness, look at that. Austin Burdick is getting a massive run on Alex Albert, getting stuck behind that truck. I don't think he has the preferred line going into turn 1 here, but we'll see how they go about it. Alex Albert going very low, Austin Burdick staying nice and high. Again, this is the corner. You got to be very careful on the exit here. Let's see who gets a wiggle, who keeps it straight. Woo! Austin Burdick with a bit of a wiggle, but wow, what power. And he's going to get a very nice pull off this truck in front of him.
Yeah, so Burdick taking advantage through the traffic there. Has a better run on the high side of turn 1. That puts him up into 3rd place overall, but then he has a bit of a wiggle through turn 2, and Albert will throw his nose to the inside for turn 3, the final corner on the circuit. And this is one I think you'd rather be on the inside. It's not as heavily banked. Albert gets his car ahead. Burdick will have the opportunity to maybe get a better exit. Albert's going to come across the line in 3rd place and might just hold it into turn 1. Great racing as the tyres wear off. These guys have got to be very careful how they put the throttle down. But it shows that there's different lines through turn 1 and different lines through the final corner as well.
Indeed, David, I'm going to pop back to the trucks here. Roger Gregory, who is trying to make a move on Brandon Schulhoff right now. So this is for position in the trucks. David, we have another slider on the backstretch. Who is that? That was car number 17, I believe. David, can you... Is that... No, I'm sorry. That was not Alexander Bueller. David, we have another car tomorrow off in the backstretch.
I can't see who that is right now. I do have my eyes on this battle between Schulhoff and Gregory, and they're going to be split. There goes Babcock. There goes Jake Humphrey. So earlier it was the trucks playing havoc with the Car of Tomorrow battle. Now it's the Car of Tomorrow's playing havoc with the trucks battle. Got 2 battles, 2 classes to watch at once here. As Jake Humphrey works his way past those. Schulhoff has a better run at Roger Gregory. Not much change for the Car of Tomorrow coming through that. But certainly, if you're anyone in this Car of Tomorrow pack, there's lots to gain if you're, for example, Jeremy Rogers in 11th place, who can see 7th place Jordan Babcock just in front of him.
Oh, and it's a big moment for... Oh, Roger Gregory just got rear-ended extremely hard by Brandon Schulhoff. He got very loose up the corner. He just could not lift in time. So big moment for these 2 trucks. And I'm really worried about Brandon Schulhoff possibly having some radiator damage with some very significant contact on Roger Gregory. David, I think, is he at a point now where he could potentially take a fast repair and get that car fixed?
Well, the leaders are just on lap 20 now, and I think that's the very earliest you could pit and have your tyres make it to the end. So could take the risk if he felt he needed to. He's coming along the main straight. He is not pitting in. Brandon Schulhoff is staying out. Roger Gregory now finds himself under attack from Philip Linden, though. So, battle in the trucks. Even though there's only 9 of them out there, they're racing very well. Gregory, huge slide on the exit of 1 once again. His rear tyres are done. Philip Linden keeps his pointing in the right direction, and he'll come through to gain another position. He's picked up 2 positions in about 2 laps.
That's great. And David, you can stay on the action here, but I want to report, unfortunately, our P4 truck runner, Kyle Smith, got extremely loose coming out of turn 1. Got it and just T-boned the wall. So Kyle Smith is now in the pits taking his fast repair. So, very difficult for Kyle Smith, who was leading the trucks very early on in this race. Well,
In the Impalas, Giovanni Romano still leads, and he's brought that gap out to 5 seconds over Jeff Tyler, who is now falling back towards the grip of Alex Albert and Austin Burdick, who maybe just looked after their tyres just a little bit better. I reckon in the next 4 to 5 laps, we'll see some of our first serious pit callers as we approach half distance in round 1 of season 25 of the Reddit iRacing League.
Yeah, I definitely hear that pit stop bell potentially ringing here very shortly. And right now, our highest runners in that pit stop category, Devin Peters has pit, Brett Nichols, Justin Lamons, and Andrew Fawcett have all pit. Right now, Devin Peters is showing a P14 on my timing screen. So he is out there on track. He has pit. He's put 7.5 laps on those tires. So, my goodness, we are not even quite at halfway
in the trucks is onto pit lane. I don't see any damage on the front of that truck. I think this is scheduled service. Lap 22, he's on pit lane for a new set of tires and fill that tank to get to the end. Now, of course, the trucks are actually going to do a few laps less than the car of tomorrow. Maybe we're going to see only 48 or 47 laps for the trucks, but regardless, JP in early from the pointy end of his category. So we'll see. Maybe that new tires early will benefit him. Maybe he'll be a sitting duck at the end.
Yeah, that is definitely a bold strategy because, as I said, Devin Peters has got 8 laps on his tires, and we're not even quite at halfway yet. We're 2 laps under halfway. My goodness, you've seen how much these guys are struggling with these tires right now with the track that just continues to heat up. And, David, let me get you a temperature check. Yeah, a bit of cloud cover has brought on some respite to the track here. So we're back at 96 degrees Fahrenheit. And so right now, those guys that have pit, they're probably really feeling this combination right now versus the guys that have run 22 plus laps on these tires. I don't know what kind of track temperatures could potentially save that, but it probably doesn't feel too much better.
Yeah, indeed. 8th on down, Nate Franklin leads a train in the car of tomorrow. He's got David Hall behind him, Jeremy Rogers behind that, Jake Humphrey behind that. They're coming through turn 2, and Nate Franklin takes a bit of a higher line. Doesn't look like it pays off because he's got David Hall right underneath him. They come into turn 3, and this is the turn of 1,000 lines being such a flat corner. Nate Franklin goes for a bit of a lower line, and Jeff Tyler from second place has decided on taking to the pit lane, and someone in a truck has had an issue off the final corner. Who's that? Matthew Tamashiro. Problems for him. I don't know. Is he trying to come to the pit lane and he's messed that up, or has he just had a huge slide through the final corner? I think that's what it was. But first of our serious pit callers, not drivers who've had to fix damage, coming in the car of tomorrow class. Jeff Tyler trying to get an undercut on Giovanni Romano and Alex Albert and Austin Burdick.
Yeah, they're trying to take advantage of that, but I think, yeah, David, we're right on the cusp here, potentially seeing some more pit stops. And yeah, David, I can confirm that Matthew Tamashiro, that was just a big slide coming off the final corner. He tank slapper. And unfortunately, David, that is his second fast repair and a second incident for him, so he's having a very tough night.
Leader on the pit lane, Giovanni Romano has responded to Jeff Tyler's pit call. So has Austin Burdick. So is Alexander Bueller. Alex Albert stays out. Alex Coffard stays out. Alex Albert will be scored as leading a lap, but I think he's probably going to come in next time. The difference between old tyres and new tyres in the car of tomorrow is looking at 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds. So Giovanni Romano gets going. Has he been passed by the undercut of Jeff Tyler? The answer is no. Quite a resounding no.
Okay, no. So right now that leaves Alex Albert in P1, Alex Cofford P2, Jordan Babcock, Babs Nation. David, I had a feeling, I could sense this. It got a little bit louder around here, but my goodness, Jordan Babcock up 8 positions into P3 right now, but he is out of the pit cycle as we're starting to see some of these guys come through. So Jordan Babcock is going to pit, and David, it looks like he's slowing down. And yes, Jordan Babcock, Babs Nation are all rooting for a very fast pit stop right here.
Alex Albert from the lead of the race also onto the pit lane. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out. I hope we stay with that one because he was right in a battle with Austin Burdick and Jeff Tyler, who pitted 2 and 1 laps earlier than him respectively. So he might come out behind them, but with the slightly newer tyres. He's down and away. Alex Albert heading towards the pit exit. What are the cars coming past now? Where has Alex Albert worked his way out? It's going to be Austin Burdick is still behind him. So is Devin Peters. So he's not. Albert hasn't been jumped by Burdick, but Jeff Tyler has pulled out a little bit of an advantage. Side by side is Albert and Burdick. Burdick has the inside. His tyres will be up to temperature, but Albert has the newer ones. They're approaching into turn 2, nearly going to go 3 wide through there. Lucky there was no contact.
Yeah, Austin Burdick with a big lift on the inside of Alex Albert there. Alex Albert came down just a little bit. Austin Burdick saw it coming to very smart driving. Again, David, we are at 27 laps of 50 here, so no need to make any rash movements. But wow, that was a very exciting 3-wide moment there for Alex Albert, Austin Burdick. And that was quick. And Alex Albert working his way back up P5, going past another lap car, and that is Philip Linden in the truck suit. David, it looks like he is running P2 in trucks.
Yeah, that's a good run from him. Bit of cloud cover over the circuit right now. Track temperature's going to cool off. A lot of the cars on new tyres. We're going to see some very, very quick laps right about now. Last one for Jeff Tyler, 56 flat, only 2/10 off his best. Giovanni Romano has resumed the race lead. His last lap around was a 56.3. Everyone but Shane Cameron has pitted in your field for the car of tomorrow. And the order now is Romano, Tyler, Albert, Burdick, Peters, and Bueller for your top 6.
Yeah, David, a great call here, and I'm down here looking at the trucks right now. Alexander Hammonds is P1 in trucks, but John Patrick is P2, but he has pitted. Alexander Hammonds has not, and P3 in trucks, Jonathan Dixon, he has not pitted either, but, so yeah, and then right behind... And then Ryan Verhulst behind that, and then Thomas Ellison. So our truck field is pretty tight right now, but Hammonds appears to, Hammonds is in the pit, and I appear Jonathan Dixon would probably wisely be pitting soon as well, but no, he is going past pit X or pit entrant right now.
So everyone but Shane Cameron and Jonathan Dixon has now taken at least one pit stop, and now that everyone's on different age tyres out there, it adds another aspect of intrigue to the racing.
Yeah, it really does, David. I'm doing a quick scan to see kind of where our best action is, and I am down in P13 with David Hall. He is in a whole slew of traffic and in a battle with the Babs Nation ringleader Jordan Babcock, and these two are being chased by a truck of Matthew Tamashiro, who's had a very tough night, unfortunately 2 wrecks, but right now Babs Nation is on their feet as Jordan Beck goes across start finish, being heavily pressured by David Hall, battling out for that P12 spot.
Yep, indeed. That's one of our best battles out there. Babcock trying to hold off David Hall. Babcock keeps a bit of a lower line through turn 1. Pretty good exit there. Now, these two, Babcock has 1 lap fresher tyres than David Hall. That's not a huge difference. Hall could still get this. Hall's trying to take a higher line through turn 2. Does that pay off for him on the exit? Doesn't look like it. So Babcock pulls a couple car lengths over David Hall, and ahead of them, there's the likes of Franklin, Lammers, and Coffard making their way through past Shane Cameron, who has not taken any tyres yet.
Yeah, Shane Cameron, a very, very bold strategy, and my goodness, David, we're starting to wonder, what is going to be the breaking point for him to pit in, because you always talk about, man, if I stay out on track, if I run as many laps as I can, I'm going to gain a bunch of positions. But David, is that time loss on laps really that important? Because my goodness, he is unfortunately dropping like a rock right now, David. And I'm just doing a quick timing check. Yeah, everyone else in the COT is doing, mid 55s, 56s. David, his last lap was a full minute.
And he definitely held up Justin Lehman's a little bit the last time through. That's brought the Babcock and Hall battle a little bit closer together. And Babcock is going to the inside of Lehman. So this is a position gain for Jordan Babcock, who has tyres that are, I'm looking, 9 laps fresher than Justin Lehman's, who had to pit, I think, because of a little bit of damage. So he's pitted maybe earlier than he'd wanted to. His tyres now aren't as fresh as the cars behind. Babcock gets through, and Hall will have a look to the inside of turn 1. I don't think Lehman's really has the tyres to fight this for too long. He'll try to hold it on the high side. Hall gets the car pointed down low, tries to get the throttle on gently, picks up a teeny bit of wheel spin, and Lemons will stay with a good run on the high side. They're going to be side by side into turn 2 once again. And this is a corner where the inside line matters a little bit more. What can David Hall do with it? He just gets clear of Justin Lehman's on the exit. But all of this has cost him a lot of time to Jordan Babcock, who's scurried away a little bit. Let's take a look at the battle for 7th now.
Yeah, popping up to the battle for 7th. It looks so. So Nate Franklin and Andrew Fawcett. Andrew Fawcett is just hounding Nate Franklin, and Alexander Crawford is right behind that. He's given it a peek into turn 1. He's probably going to lift here. I don't think he's got the line he really needs potentially maybe. So Alexander Crawford, a little lift on Andrew Fawcett. Watch Fawcett with a bit of a slide. He's got to be careful coming off this turn 1 here to not get too loose. Just did not get a good run. I want to do a quick shout out to Nate Franklin. He's driven a fantastic race with a damaged car. He likely took a fast repair in that pit stop. He got hit early on and just has been running very strong. So Nate Franklin is up 5 spots in P7, starting out in P12. We have a pass with Andrew Fawcett getting passed by Andrew Crawford, who has now claimed 8th spot.
Yep. Because we saw that incident, that damage for Andrew Fawcett earlier on. He had to come into the pits then, took the fast repair, took his tyres. But that means he's 12 laps older than Alex Coffard, who gets the job done eventually. It was sort of inevitable, unfortunately, that incident has put Fawcett off strategy, and he's going to spend the rest of this race trying to nurse those tyres home, as a lot of the cars behind him with newer tyres catch and pass him.
David, I want to pop back to the trucks here. I am watching Thomas Ellison hunt down Ryan Verhulst. Again, I'm working through to see kind of where we are, but yeah, it looks like Thomas Ellison has worked his way up to P4 in trucks. John Patrick is still leading in a very strong lead in trucks, almost 7 seconds over, 11 seconds over Ryan Verhulst. But my goodness, Thomas Ellison in P3 in trucks. What a strong performance for this. And David, that livery, you can't stop looking at it.
Yeah, indeed. So getting closer, Verhulst and Ellison closed up 2/10 the last lap around, and they're on about the same age tyres. They've got relatively fresh tyres, and of course the huge hole in the air that those trucks punch means that following another car at this stage of the tyre life gives you a good advantage, and Verhulst has to check up. He hits the wall on the outside, and Ellison is through for another position.
Wow, David, that was a massive moment. Yeah, just watching the replay there, he just got a whole bunch of that bottom curbing, which you do not want to do coming out of that third corner. And, man, that really cost him dearly. So he got the car very upset, slid all the way up the top, and smacked that safer barrier. But regardless of how safe that barrier is, David, he likely knocked out a toe. And my goodness, did he ruin his aero at a very unfortunate time, as Thomas Ellison has taken advantage of that incident and moved himself up to P2 in truck tonight.
Yep, indeed. Great opportunity to take advantage, and he avoided collecting the slower truck in front of him. So Tom Ellison grabs himself another position in the pink kitten car. Best battle in the car of tomorrow's. That's Babcock leading Fawcett, leading Hall, leading Rogers. Have a look at that one. Babcock's got quite a few car lengths over Fawcett, but like we mentioned, his tyres mean that he is dropping, not like a stone, but bit by bit, the cars behind just have a fresher tyre advantage over him. And the next car in line is David Hall. It comes through turn 2. Fawcett goes a little bit higher, takes the high line, and all the way down to the inside. And with those new tyres, David Hall has a run, will go to the inside. There's a truck around on the infield, but of course, no cautions, we stay green.
Yeah, David, I have
Devin
Peters spinning on the backstretch. He almost touched car number 28, Ryan Muirhead, and he got very loose coming off turn 1 and spun in the infield. No contact, but my goodness, Devin Peters was very high up in the field, David. He was dropping like a rock. Very unfortunate incident for Devin Peters.
There we go. Drama on lap 36.
Yeah, and because of that, Devin Peters has now found himself into pit lane. And David, you also mentioned earlier he may have pit just outside of the window, so he may just decide to go ahead, take a fast repair, probably grab some fuel to splash and go. But my goodness, Devin Peters' night just went from pretty darn good to unfortunate with, yeah, just as you said, 37 laps of 50.
Sixth place battle. Nate Franklin, Alex Coffard. Nate Franklin's had a good run. He's up 6 positions. He started 12th on the grid, now in 6th. Alex Coffard is around where he started, but he's gained 1 position. So those two battling it out for 6th place.
They are battling out for 6th place. Again, let's keep an eye on this battle. I'm trying to check some sector times, and yeah, they're pretty much even, but Alexander Coffard, he is up 1 spot, so he's kind of on a recovery drive. He has maintained himself, so started in P8 tonight, all the way to P7, but Nate Franklin continues to be extremely impressive, up 6 spots. David, these guys only have 2 laps of difference in tires, but...
And here comes Coffard. He's going to go to the inside of the final corner, but he gets the brakes on pretty early. And Franklin swoops around the outside and holds on to that 6th position for now. But it's 2 laps fresher tyres for Coffard behind. That's not a huge amount, but certainly at the start of the stint, that would have given him a little bit of an advantage. If he can look after them towards the end, then it's just that small advantage that he'll have every lap here until the end. Into turn 1, Franklin's a little bit slidey. He was a little bit high through the first bit of the corner. Takes a very, very late apex to get the power down. It just about works. And there's closing up for 2nd place as well, because a bit of a slow lap for Jeff Tyler means that Alex Albert is right there in the window.
Yeah, he is. Oh, and my goodness, and Jeff Tyler smacks the outside wall. David, he is not up to speed here. There's almost a 10-mile-an-hour difference. And Alex Albert is probably going to look to make a move into turn 1 if he feels he can do it. No, he's going to back off. Jeff Tyler is going to hold it for 1 more. But, David, that was a pretty good hit by Jeff Tyler coming off of that final corner there.
And he gets the bumper from Alex Albert. So Alex Albert nearly sends Jeff Tyler around. Albert lifts out of the throttle. He didn't want to take 2nd place that way, but it was contact between the 2 cars. Jeff Tyler is struggling. I don't think Alex Albert thought he was going to slow up that much in the corner. Those 2 have lost a second or so. Now Austin Burdick is in the picture for 2nd place. Tyler sliding everywhere. Albert has another run at him. Austin Burdick is in 4th place. He's flying along, catching up to these guys. This is going to be a great 3-car battle for 2nd place. Tyler is the racing wounded. Albert is looking for that, and Burdick will probably take any chance that's presented to him. It's a car length as they cross the stripe. Tyler leads. Albert, what will he do into turn 1 this time? He decides he's going to go for the inside, if that's going to be how much the car speed difference is through turn 1. And I tell you what, I think he's just about got it. All the overlap before the apex. Albert can track all the way out, getting the throttle down. Up into 2nd place for Alex Albert. Tyler in 3rd. Burdick still lurking in 4th place.
Yeah, David, let's stay on this action. I do want to report that Alexander Coffard has made his way past Nate Franklin. So Coffard has moved up to P6 as that battle has kind of subsided as Coffard is running away from Nate Franklin.
Ten laps to go right now. Your leader, Giovanni Romano, crosses the line. Just 10 more laps here at Pocono. Battle for 2nd is still staying feisty. Tyler hasn't dropped away. He's still there. He just doesn't look like he's got the speed through the corners. Burdick caught Tyler 3/10 on that last lap. It's now only 6/10 of a second between them. And through turn 1, that looks like where Tyler is just really struggling the most. Burdick looking quick there. Tyler was, of course, our first pit caller. He's got slightly older tyres than these guys that he's battling with. Not by 10 laps, just by 1 or 2 laps. But it matters. It matters just a little bit. Oh, plenty of slip angles through turn 2 for Tyler. He'll be wearing them out doing that.
Yeah, he definitely will. But yeah, I'm just trying to decide how much aero problems that Jeff Tyler has. You just watch him in that final corner there, David. He just could not get that car to turn. He was probably tapping the throttle, tapping the brake, just trying to get that front to plant. Just could not get it to go. And Austin Burdick is potentially looking for an opportunity here with a very wounded Jeff Tyler. Jeff Tyler going to take the high line here. I don't think late in this race that low line is preferable, but Austin Burdick is going to try it. Yeah, see, Jeff Tyler... Yeah, you could both hear them tapping the throttle, trying to get the power down, but Jeff Tyler's going to get a little bit better run on the top side. But with that aero damage, I just don't know how much longer he's going to be able to hold off a very quick Austin Burdick.
Yeah, it was a better run for Tyler, but he couldn't get clear of Burdick before the turn in for the corner. Tyler had to take the high line. He's just managed to get away with it, but most of it, I think, was Burdick getting on the brakes a little bit early, not wanting to force the issue, not wanting to get involved with any shenanigans at that point. But through this final corner, once again, Tyler not looking comfortable. Burdick gets the power down just a little bit better. This is letting Alex Albert build more than a second gap away from these guys. Albert's looking more and more comfortable in second place. Tyler and Burdick continues to be your battle for the final spot on the podium. This time they're in line through turn 1 because they've got a bit of traffic to get by. That's John Patrick, and they will get by him on the run into turn 2. It does not advantage Burdick much.
No, it doesn't. And David, since we just saw that pass by John Patrick, I want to report Thomas Ellison has worked his way up to P2 in trucks. I believe I called that earlier, but he is slowly gaining on John Patrick. He's running about 3/10 faster than him per lap.
And they're side by side for third place in the trucks because Philip Linden is on the inside of Alexander Hammonds as Shane Cameron comes through on the way into turn 2. Linden has the inside for turn 2. Hammonds is on the outside. This is a battle for third place in that class. Hammonds, and there's a checkup, and Hammonds makes contact with Shane Cameron.
Wow, that was a very scary moment. David, I'm watching the replay right now. So, yeah, Shane Cameron just blew past these guys and then entered into, turn 3 and just came in way too hot, not enough brake, bounced it off the wall, came down the track, and then, oh, my goodness, big contact there by Alexander Hammonds. That is so unfortunate. But, yeah, Shane Cameron with a big smack on the wall.
Yeah, I think Cameron was a bit too eager to get past those two trucks before turn 2 that they were coming into, and gone in a little bit hot, hit the outside wall, and then checked up in front of poor Alexander Hammonds. So now it's Patrick for your lead in the truck. Second place is Tom Ellison, and third, a little bit uncontested, is Philip Linden. But they're battling for 8th place in the car of tomorrow. David Hall's just gotten past Jordan Babcock, and Babcock is now side by side, I think, with Jeremy Rogers there. So it's 8th, 9th, and 10th all battling here. That's Rogers on the outside, Babcock on the inside. And it's a bit of a better run for Jeremy Rogers. So Jordan Babcock's just gone and lost 2 positions. And there's a few other places shuffling around because Tyler and Burdick are still battling as well. So it's 6 laps to go, and there's plenty of racing still to happen.
Yeah, there is. Burdick just cannot get this pass to stick. Jeff Tyler is being very creative with his lines and some of his blocking. So he's doing a heck of a job, but my goodness, he's got to get this to work eventually. And right now, he's not doing himself any favors by sticking that close to Jeff Tyler. Again, I don't know how much it's going to cause them to wear tires. Oh, we've got a truck on the front stretch here. Oh, he got pinched. He got pinched. Austin Burdick got a bit pinched. He had to be very careful as that car and the truck went right by him there. Who's that 911? Yeah, Devin Peters is on fresher tires.
Yeah, Peters is a lap down, trying to get a lap back, and he's on tires that are about 15, 20 laps fresher than Jeff Tyler's. He's got the quicker race car, even though he's some laps down. And Tyler, I don't think, wants to let anyone past. So you've got Tyler for 3rd place, Burdick for 4th place, but with a lap down but faster car between them. Huge wiggle off turn 2 for Tyler. Peters tries to come on through. Burdick's going to go on the outside, 3 wide. Burdick is past Tyler, checks up into the outside wall, and Tyler is back into 3rd place. Tyler's tyres are shot. Burdick had a great opportunity there. He's just gone in too hot to the final corner, hit the outside wall.
My goodness, that was some very intense moments for Jeff Tyler. Man, Jeff Tyler cannot be happy with Devin Peters pushing as hard as he was, especially challenging for position. I think Devin Peters should have been a little more patient, but Jeff Tyler with a magnificent save in order to maintain his position. Austin Burdick also with some wall contact, David. So right now, I believe P2 and P3 and P4 are running with the same damage.
Yeah, it looks like it. It hasn't slowed down Burdick tapping that outside wall. He's closing up again on Jeff Tyler. 3 laps to go. Giovanni Romano has just started a new lap. And a few battles further down the order. I think this one for 3rd place. Oh, Burdick is just a bit too far back right now.
Yeah, he is. And Dave, just a quick shout out to Jeremy Rogers. Jeremy Rogers, he's been again a very quiet race. He is currently running P9, car number 58. His tires have 20 laps in them. He is one of the cars that has probably some of the freshest tires inside the top 10. So very quiet run for Jeremy Rogers. Again, up 6 positions in this race. So kudos to him with a very strong race as he is now hunting down Jordan Babcock and Babs Nation.
Very quick into turn 1 for Jeremy Rogers compared to Jordan Babcock. Let's see how he gets the traction down off the corner. Looking good. Rogers just 2 or 3 car lengths back from Jordan Babcock now with about, well, it's 3 laps left to run for these guys. This is our closest battle. Both of them black and orange kind of liveries there. There's a truck that was around there. Not sure who that was.
David, that was our truck leader. That was Philip Linden. Our truck leader has spun and is now in the pits. That puts, yes, I'm sorry, Thomas Ellison. Yeah, so Thomas Ellison is still in front of Philip Linden, but man, that was a big incident right there. And David, I apologize. I've called the wrong truck. Alexander Hammonds is the one that took that accident.
I'm as confused as you are, if I'm honest, but I do know that where we're at is there's 1.5 laps to go, well, 1 lap to go now. Giovanni Romano takes the white flag, comfortable lead for him. It's the battles behind. There's a battle for 3rd place, a battle for 5th, a battle for 7th, and a battle for 9th.
Yeah, there are battles all over the place, and yeah, it looks like
best of those is 7th place though, because Rogers was just looking to the inside. Jordan Babcock couldn't do anything about it. A bit of cloud cover right now, some quick conditions, and Rogers and Babcock will take the white flag this time, and Rogers is right there.
Yeah, he is right there. They're going to have to deal with a slower truck up here. They're going to have to be very careful. Jordan Babcock, very smooth line, coming in high, diving down low. He is going to get a bit of a tow from the truck.
Eyes to Romano, though. Checkered flag is in the air. Your leader comes to take the overall win. Giovanni Romano is your winner. Alex Albert's in 2nd place. Where are your eyes right now?
Yeah, David, I'm just watching our truck leader, John Patrick. He is coming around. He's on the backstretch. He is a very commanding lead. Looks like he's going to be taking the P1 spot for truck tonight.
Babcock and Rogers right behind him, and Babcock got a huge amount of wheel spin. He comes into the final corner. Rogers is going to try and go around the outside. Right in front of Rogers is your truck lead, and John Patrick's going to take the win in that class. But for 7th and 8th, Jordan Babcock grabs 7th because Rogers was blocked out, couldn't do anything about it. 2nd place for your trucks, Tom Ellison is coming towards the line right now. He'll grab those points for 2nd place and probably be pretty happy with that one. Then in 3rd place, Philip Linden is just behind him.
David, that was a pretty wild ride. I want to say the top group was contested. It was contested very early on, but once Devin Peters had his issue, Giovanni Romano pretty much ran away. Alex Albert just could not get back up to him. And then Jeff Tyler, wow, what a way to hold off Austin Burdick to round out a P3 in the Car of Tomorrow group.
Your winner is on the start-finish straight, rightfully smoking those rear tyres. A pretty dominant performance by him, nearly a 14-second win. And I think this is Giovanni Romano saying, I'm a two-time champion. I'm looking at a third, and he started the season exactly how he needs to, if that's his ambition. Your finishing order is Giovanni Romano first. Alex Albert grabs second place. Third goes to Jeff Tyler. Fourth is Austin Burdick. Fifth place is Alex Coffard. Sixth goes to Nate Franklin. Seventh, Jordan Babcock just holds off eighth place Jeremy Rogers. Ninth place is Jake Humphrey. And 10th in your Car of Tomorrow class is Andrew Fawcett.
Yeah, running out of P11, Justin Lametz, David Hall, P12, Devin Peters, P13, Brian Molitor, P14, Shane Cameron, P15, Rhett Nichols in P16, and in P17, P1 in trucks is John Patrick with a very dominant drive tonight, and Thomas Ellison with a fantastic drive as well, coming in trucks in P2. Alexander Bueller in P19. Unfortunately, that is a difficult Car of Tomorrow finish for him. Philip Linden also in trucks, P20, Zachary Price, P21, Alexander Hammonds, P22, Jonathan Dixon, P23, Ryan Verhulst, P24, Ryan Muirhead, P25, Matthew Tamashito, P26, who had a very difficult night, multiple fast repairs tonight, Brian Schohoff, P27, Roger Gregory, 26th lap down in P28, and unfortunately, Kyle Smith, very strong night, led the trucks for a number of laps, and then unfortunately crashed out and then left the track in P29.
Well, exciting way to start season 25 of the Reddit iRacing League. We'll try and grab your overall winner, Giovanni Romano, and we do have him. Great way to start your season with a win in round one.
Yeah, it was great. The kind of race you dream about, starting on the pole, led every lap. No issues the entire time. It was a great race.
Well, as the defending champ, what's your aim for this season? Surely you're hoping to do it all again and stamp your authority on this championship.
Well, the first goal is to have fun, because that's what's most important. But yeah, after that, of course, winning the championship is always a great goal.
Tell us about tires. Tell us about the track temperatures, because it looks like the Car of Tomorrow is a car that really chews through them. What were your thoughts on pit strategy?
Yeah, it's definitely a car track combo that eats tires. So the key is to keep those tires from sliding and preserve them. And in terms of pit strategy, I just split the race in half. So 25 laps, kept it simple.
Well, congratulations. Any thanks, any shout-outs?
So the usual shout-outs. Thanks to the admins for running the league. I appreciate it. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast. And also thanks to all the drivers out there. It was a good race, especially the trucks. Everyone was... I didn't have any issues with any lappers, so that was good.
Well, thank you and congratulations. And speaking of those trucks, we'll scuttle over to the winner of your truck category, because he's speaking with Aaron Thacker.
John Patrick, talk about driving the trucks tonight. My goodness, we were fascinated by your lead and your consistency in the trucks tonight. Tell us about your drive.
It was pretty smooth. I mean, I just mainly focused on corner exit speed. I noticed that in turn two, a lot of guys were kind of, coming up on the rear, like they were carrying more speed in, but then they couldn't carry it through, and I was kind of pulling away. in that way. And then for pit strategy, I tried to duck in early because the way that the tires are, it seems like they're, there's zero warm up basically. So I was, the sooner I can get onto them, the sooner I can put in some faster laps and pull an undercut. So that was kind of my strategy.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because up in the booth, we thought, my goodness, these guys are really going to run those tires as long as they possibly can and give themselves as much rubber by the end of the race. But yeah, ducking it early, how much does the truck differ when it comes to tire strategy versus this car of tomorrow?
I mean, I don't really know for the COT. I did a little bit of testing, as a moderator to see what it was like, and I hated it. So I didn't really even do many laps in the COT to see how the tires wore off. But it was like they had, 5-ish laps of great and then a lot of laps of decent. So I wanted to get those laps of great in early to try to pull out a lead and then just kind of drive away.
Well, John, we want to say congratulations in the booth for a very strong P1 finish in trucks tonight. Any shout outs or thanks before we welcome you or escort you out of the booth?
I just want to give a thanks to all the other mods. I don't want to say that I put in a ton of work, but it takes work to make all this happen, and I really appreciate Tom stepping in and setting up the session because of Babs's financial issues or whatever you want to call it that caused the first session not to go off. Yeah, thank you guys for the broadcast as usual.
Thank you, John. And David, it looks like you have Mr. P2 in COT. That is Alex Albert, who had a very strong drive as well tonight.
Yeah, Alex, talk us about that, because, well, Giovanni was pretty well and clear most of the race. You had some good battles, really had to think about your pit strategy. So second place and up 4 positions, not a bad run for you.
Yeah, happy with the result. I probably could have ran a little bit better if I would have had a better pit strategy. I determined that I was going to split the race in half, so I stuck with that. Jeff pit maybe 2 or 3 laps before me, and I think Gio the lap after Jeff. Then whenever I came out, they had both extended their lead, but luckily my tires, I seem to have better long run pace, and so my tires were, a few laps newer, and that allowed me to run down Jeff. And then we had a little touch. I tried to do the gentlemanly thing and lift and wait, and followed him around for another lap, and then got the pass fair and square. Had a great battle with Austin Burdick as well. I hope you guys caught the 3-wide move into the tunnel turn there on my out lap. It was pretty intense.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a decent haul of points for you in the first round of the season. Are there any races coming up later in the schedule that you think might suit you, that you might be able to put one over Gio?
I just take it 1 week at a time. So not even sure what the next race is, but, just looking forward to putting together a good season of solid runs. Try not to have any really bad weeks, and then just see how the...
And dear viewers, if you had just taking it one race at a time on your bingo sheet, feel free to cross that one off now. But are there any races that you favor? You looking for more ovals or looking for more road courses? Which one do you think is stronger?
Well, I used to think that I was stronger on the ovals, but last season I think the majority of my good finishes came on the road. So I don't know. This Legends Dirt on a rally course configuration should be pretty cool. I don't think I've ever done that before, so that should be new for everyone. Yeah, maybe I'll do good.
Yeah, awesome. Well, best of luck to you. Congratulations on your second place, and any shout outs, any thanks?
Yeah, just shout outs to the RIL mods and HJBC for putting on these broadcasts. Love watching them after the fact, and yeah, just appreciate everything you guys do. Look forward to seeing you guys.
Awesome. Well, that was second place, Alex Albert. And the last driver we're going to have a word to was third place in the Car of Tomorrow class. Jeff Tyler is with Aaron Thack.
Jeff Tyler, I don't want to discount the rest of your race, but my goodness, those last 3 or 4 laps battling with Alex Albert, that was some pretty intense stuff. Alex did acknowledge that bit of a bump, and we had that on screen when it happened. Walk us through that moment.
Nice. Yeah, there was a lot of sideways motoring there, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that was a case of just, there were multiple workable lines with the car, and I got in a little hot to the corner that time, so I had to kind of back up the exit to get a good run at it. And Alex was having a peek, and I thought we were clear, but we bumped. But he was nice and kind of let me gather it up and let us keep going. So yeah, it all worked out.
Now, Jeff, we were continued to be blown away by the straight line speed difference. I think when it came to the corners, these cars were almost identical. But talk us through what it's like dealing with traffic, as we did see that 3-wide moment very towards the end there between Austin Burdick and Alex Albert and yourself, and again just dealing with this truck traffic that just was almost 10 miles an hour slower in the straights.
Yeah, the car of tomorrow, like you said, had a lot of power and was a little faster on the straights, but the trucks were actually faster through the corners. So a lot of times for us in the Cup car, we'd be catching a truck right at the end of the straight, and you'd actually have to kind of brake a little early and let them have the corner, because if you tried to fight them for it on entry, you would end up slowing both cars down. So there was a little bit of strategy at play with that as well, but it made it fun. I think the multi-class on the oval is something that might work in the real world. Might be something worth trying.
Well, Jeff, we really enjoyed seeing you back in the car for an IRL race. Always love seeing you out there. Any shout-outs or thanks before you leave the booth tonight?
Just to you guys, thanks for broadcasting. Really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Good win to Giovanni, and good job, Alex.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, David, that is going to wrap up round 1 here. And my goodness, as always, David, I feel like I repeat myself every week, never short of action on a very unique track and car multi-class combination.
Yeah, certainly. Always something different for Reddit iRacing League. And it's always fun to watch. Great racing. And you can join if you head over to reddit.com/r/RIL. They've got all the information over there on how you can sign up, how you can race, and also to keep across all of our broadcasts. Next week is the Global Mazda MX-5, so the new one at the Charlotte Roval. So that'll be a great race as well. We'll have coverage of that one. Same time next week. Do subscribe to get that coverage. And of course, this week we've also got on Wednesday night the Champ Car Sim Series. That one's coming at you from Road America. Plenty of other great coverage coming up here on HJBC as well. I've been David Haynes. In the production truck has been Michael Derby. That was Aaron Thacker alongside me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.